11 o'clock, three-man front, Landrum, Pat, Conrad, and Molly. Hope everyone is doing well. SEC tournament beginning today. You got Auburn and Mississippi State, LSU and Big Blue Nation, Kentucky. As we get first-round action later on, we'll get more games. They're in Bridgestone. Games going on around the country. Await Alabama, the Crimson Tide beginning play coming up on Friday. Got a chance, and always tell you about our friends at Noto Roofing. Chris was out at my house the other day, walked the roof, and found some problem areas that we're trying to address right now. We're actually going to address. We're just waiting feedback. But recent storms, they dropped 2 to 3 inches of hail. It pounded roofs. We had the straight line winds the other night. You need to make sure that your home, your biggest investment, is protected. And you can do it with our friends at Noto Roofing. Sammy, Chris, Matt, they're all great guys, wonderful people. Chris has been in the business for almost 30 years, but he taught me things he's looking for. He's got a weather app. They know the documented storm days of when storm days affected your area. Also, he's just even the naked eye. He can tell what was caused by hail, what was caused by, let's just say, Landrum dropping a hammer on his roof. All of that, they're very detailed. They're going to make sure you're taken care of, and they're not going to try to sell you a new roof if you don't need one. It's Noto Roofing, a name you can trust, local guys, and they're going to take care of you. N-O-T-O. That's notoroofing.com. Always tell them Landrum from Jock sent you.
SEC basketball tournament tips off in about 28 minutes. Let's talk to the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide as the Tide will play on Friday. Brought to you each and every week by Craneworks.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Crimson Tide Network's Chris Stewart on Three Man Front is brought to you by Craneworks. Lift it, buy it, rent it. The big dog's got it. And now, Chris Stewart.
And Chris joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. Chris, I hope you're doing well on this Wednesday.
I am great, buddy. How are you doing?
We are doing fantastic. Right in the middle of March Madness. Good weather. It should be a really entertaining tournament coming up on Friday for the Alabama Crimson Tide. When are you going up? Are you going up Thursday? Are you going up Friday morning?
I am en route right now.
There you go.
I am en route as we speak. Got my son Parker in tow, and we are making our way up there, and had planned to get there a little earlier and make it in time for the tip of the LSU Kentucky game, but we'll be there probably late second half for that. Enjoy the rest of the day and all of tomorrow until I've got to do a little work on Thursday night. I'll do the game for Sirius XM in that 8:30 tip off, whichever one it is, whatever time that is. That we finally get going for the late game on Thursday night.
How many tee times have you secured for your son, the talented golfer?
No. This is Parker. This is my future cybersecurity pro.
Okay.
And I say that he is napping in the passenger side, and he's like, "What have I done now?" No, but Parker's with me. He's the big basketball junkie, and so we're going to enjoy a couple of days together. And with him turning 21 here in about 2.5 weeks, I'm enjoying these times because I know they're dwindling rapidly.
Oh, the days of innocence is about to go out the back door. You know how that goes.
Yes, they do indeed.
All right, let's talk about Alabama as they get the number 2 seed in this week's tournament. But I want to go back to Saturday night's game against Auburn, and we have seen this happen multiple times, Chris, with this Alabama team. Not trying to be overly critical, but it's a situation where Alabama looks so good in one specific half, and then in the second half, you can tell that Nate Oates is not a very happy camper. Just your feelings on the consistency level of this Alabama team and what needs to happen coming up this weekend.
No, I agree, and you're absolutely right. I do think you've got to be fair to Auburn that when that thing got to 28 and could have easily gone to 40 or north with the way Alabama was playing, they refused to let that happen. And while the outcome was never in doubt, they certainly didn't let it get embarrassing, and they certainly made it more interesting than we would have liked for it to have been. And that's to Auburn's credit for continuing to play hard and play continuing to fight. But at the same time, you're absolutely right. Bama's got to find a way to do it for 40 minutes. When they do, if they do, they literally can play with anybody. We've seen it. But sustaining that for a full 40 minutes is not an easy thing, and Alabama's had their issues there. I will say, if you give me a 28-point head start, though, I like our chances to be pretty good at the final. I like our chances of winning most games with 15 minutes to go, up 28.
What have been some of the most encouraging things you've seen down the stretch, aside from the shooting, because we know that they've shot the ball pretty well most nights, but what other aspects of that team are you encouraged by heading in to, well, what counts, and that would be the postseason?
Yeah, I really think, Landrum, that it's the fact that with the continuity of the roster, because they've gotten healthier, has come greater consistency in play with this team. You know, we've talked, and valid conversation, that part of the problem has been the inability to stay healthy and to have the same 7-8 guys available night in, night out. But once you got everything settled, if you did not play better and did not play at a higher level, that would have been very disappointing. But the truth is, they've been more consistent. They've been more of who we thought they would be as a team, the more healthy they've gotten. And with the continuity within the roster itself has come the level of play that I think we all anticipated when this season tipped off.
It is interesting, Chris, the potential of Alabama on Friday, potentially playing maybe two of the three teams that you could play, Alabama lost to. And so when you think back to those games, losing to Texas in Coleman Coliseum and most recently to Georgia on the road, when you think about those two games, what went wrong for Alabama in those two specific games, in your opinion, that they need to correct for them to get the win on Friday?
Trying to remember. Tell me again. Georgia, I know, was one, you said.
And Texas. Yeah, Texas was obviously
the
early.
other.
Yep,
yeah,
that was in Coleman Coliseum.
Yeah, you're right. We caught Texas at a time when they had kind of had their backs against the wall, and if I'm not mistaken, that was the first game of the 5 that Charles Bediako played, and that's part of the kind of the inconsistency with the roster. If I'm not mistaken, that may have been a game when Amari Allen was out. I can't remember.
I think you are correct there. Yes, on Amari Allen.
Yeah, there was one of those, and then there's another one where, and that was part of it. It wasn't just one guy out for Alabama. You're talking about 2 guys for a full game and maybe Latrell Reisel for a half game, like the Vanderbilt game in Nashville that Vanderbilt won. Vandy's a good team, and I'm not sure they had lost at the time we played them, or had only lost one game, whatever it was. But that was a matchup where I believe you did not have Aiden Sherrill at all for the game, and LeBaron Filine starts to have body cramps 5 minutes into the second half, and around that same time, Latrell Reisel's leg was bothering him, and he didn't play final 12 to 15 minutes. That's 3 key pieces that you don't have in crunch time that are tough to overcome. 2 guys, I think, were out again for the Texas game. So there's no guarantee you win, even with those guys healthy, because those are good teams. And, you still got to play. We talked about the depth being the strength of the team. Well, if you're really that deep, then you need to be able to have guys that can step in and get the job done. But I like our chances a whole lot better with those guys on the floor than what we saw when the first matchup took place. So, look, again, you could still lose because they're good teams and they're fighting and they're trying to improve their situation as far as the NCAA tournament is concerned also. But I will take my chances with the the group that we know has played the bulk of the minutes and has been the best option for Alabama.
Voice of the Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart, joining us here on Three Man Front, presented by Craneworks, and joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. It's all about matchups when it gets to the NCAA tournament, Chris. We know this. For Alabama, what they do well, stylistically, schematically, what style of play do you believe gives this particular team the most trouble?
Georgia, who you had asked me about also, and I think their strength and their presence inside. Alabama did not rebound well with them. They're able to play with tempo and pace, but they've got some more size and physicality than Alabama does. And that was a big part of Bama not being able to get out of Athens with a win. That's a really good team that Mike's built, and they're tough, they're physical, they can play, again, the up-tempo style, and they've got some real talent in the backcourt too. So I would say it's easily a team that rebounds the ball well, and I think defensive rebounding, giving teams second chance opportunities is something we've really had a tough time with. It almost got us against Tennessee, and it has gotten us in several other games, including most recently Georgia.
Chris Stewart, the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, joining us for a few more minutes, always presented by Craneworks here on the Higginbotham Hotline. Chris, I know it's been a while since you saw Florida up close and personal. Most people believe that Florida is a team that possibly is going to be a Final Four team, may even cut the nuts down as they repeat national champion. But if it's not Florida, the best in the conference, who else? A couple other teams that, besides Alabama, that are playing their best basketball right now that potentially could be a Sunday opponent in the championship game against the Florida Gators.
Yeah, and I'm having to think about that other half of the brackets. They're in our half, but I think Arkansas is obviously one of those teams that can get there. Is Vandy the 4 seed?
Vandy is the 4 seed. Yep, they're going to have to play Florida
yeah,
in the
that's
semis.
What I thought.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're as versatile and deep a roster as I've seen a Vanderbilt team have in a long time. And I know I sound a little contradictory in saying that, Bama with a full roster has a much better chance against them than we did the first time around, and I do believe that. But I also think the Vanderbilt at its best is a really dangerous team, and playing in their home city, you'll have a good many. But it's the same thing I believe with Tennessee that can be really dangerous too. I know they haven't played as well, but man, their length, their strength, and Ament is really talented, even though he hasn't played as much or played as well. But he's a difference maker. But just like really Acuff is for Arkansas too. That's part of why the ones that have real stars, and everybody's got great players, but there are a few that are elite. And I think Ament, Acuff at their best, like LeBaron and Philon, for Alabama, all fall into that category.
Chris, when you look at this tournament, and we kind of revisit it, because I think a lot of our listeners, they'll remember this, or maybe some of them they don't know, but fondest moment that you can remember from an SEC tournament past?
Oh, for me, when you cut down the nets and you win, those are obviously special. So Herb Jones' defense on Trendon Watford, on that final sequence, there was so much. There were so many storylines. I'll just leave it at that.
Was that the one before
Alabama
the game?
And LSU. That
were the coaches that Sankey took exception to, I think?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember if that was or not. Will Wade was certainly the coach at LSU, and I will leave it at that. especially in light of where rules are now.
Yeah.
It's kind of, non it'd be a non-story now, but the reality was at the time there was quite a lot of hostilities between the two sides, and obviously, from my perspective, good triumphed over evil on that one, and her being the guy that was making the play, and then that was really special. Colin Sexton's game-winning shot in St. Louis to beat, where he goes coast to coast and really salvage the season, because that's a game where you knew if you lose, you're out of the tournament. If you win, you're in. That was about as clear a one-game situation early in a tournament as I've ever heard Lenardi. And that was obviously so desperately needed in year 3 of Avery Johnson's tenure at Alabama. So to get that one and to win it in the manner in which Alabama did was very, very special. There was a game with it was a first-round game between Alabama and Georgia 15 years ago, and I can tell you emphatically that it was 15 years ago because it was 2 days after my youngest was born that Bama played Georgia in Atlanta, trailed by 10 with 5 minutes to go or less, and came back and won that game. And you had to win it to have a chance to get in. And unfortunately, even though Alabama, I think, had beaten Georgia twice in the span of a week and a half, the Dogs still got in over Alabama that particular year in the tournament. So that one was a tough pill to swallow ultimately, but it was a great win and a great game. And Mark had them, and I don't know. It's just there's a lot of special moments about the tournament, but if you're going just for a single game without a championship being given, it would have to be the Colin Sexton coast-to-coast game winner.
That's a good one. Chris Stewart, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. You can hear him. He'll be on Sirius XM calling some games around the Southeastern Conference tournament. Of course, you can hear him on the Alabama broadcasts every single time. But our good friends, David Upton, down at Craneworks, they bring you to us each and every week.
Yeah, appreciate David and Craneworks. It's the most trusted name. Crane and equipment rental in the Southeast, and has been for over 30 years. They've got a fleet of cranes ranging from 2.5 tons to 500. Craneworks also offers trained and certified operators to make sure the job is done right for you. They got locations in Birmingham, in Nashville, down in Mobile, and now in Huntsville, but I'm not too far from rolling through myself. Visit craneworks.com for more information.
Go chase that neon rainbow. Enjoy Broadway.
I'm going to do my very best. I will. That's the beauty of it. It's all right there. And I loved the tournament being in Birmingham for years, but man, this is a great location in Nashville. It's really, really cool. And hopefully we're there until Sunday.
Well, have great calls. Have fun. Happy birthday to your son. Please let him know, and we will talk to you next week.
You got it, guys. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Chris Stewart, voice of the Crimson Tide, presented by Craneworks on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham's your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, it's very important, especially over the next 24 hours, to make sure that all your trees on your property, they're not leaning. You don't have a potential problem leaning over your house, your driveway, your car. That's where Golston Tree Service comes in. 205-337-4443. You've heard me talk about Golston for years on this program. They're licensed pros. They handle everything from trimming and pruning to full tree removals, fast, safe, and they're affordable. Don't wait until that next storm causes damage. Call Golston Tree Service. But if something does happen overnight, let's say in the next day or two with all these heavy storms we're supposed to get, call Golston. They got 24-hour emergency tree service, 205-337-4443.
We got tournament basketball going on right now, and the latest from Joe Lenardi and Bracketology, how it sets up for this week in Nashville. All of that next on Three Man Front. 11:23, Chris Stewart, voice of the Crimson Tide, presented by Craneworks, previewing Alabama not only in Nashville, coming up on Friday, and hopefully for Tide fans and beyond, but also the NCAA tournaments. All of that fun. We appreciate our friends at Craneworks. Any portion of the show that you miss, you can always find it there at jocksfm.com and the 3-Man Front podcast. But, guys, we've got tournament basketball going on right now. We've got games on every single screen and an additional tablet here in the studio for one Pat Smith. But right now, St. Bonaventure leading LaSalle 48-33 as they played in the first round of the A10 tournament. Maryland up early on Molly's Iowa Hawkeyes, 16-10. Terps lead. She doesn't like Iowa. I just did that for her benefit. And then Pitt. Ryan Edwards was talking about this, Conrad. Pitt, 26-21 over Will Wade and NC State right now. 9 minutes, 5 seconds remaining in the first half.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about NC State kind of fading here as the season's gone on. Yeah, that's need to win that one if you're Will Wade, I would think.
Yep. Nashville, first game of the SEC tournament. You get Kentucky and LSU. They're going to tip momentarily. Iowa State taking on Arizona State. Bobby Hurley being told he's not coming back, and they're winning one for the Gipper. At least they did yesterday.
Oh, it just reminds me of, who was it a couple years ago? And I'm sure it's happened multiple times, but it was a mid-major school. Was it like Long Island or something where they had fired their coach and like, you're done when the season's over. And then they won their whole conference tournament and got the auto bid to the NCAA.
Yeah, who was that? Yeah, I do.
Long Island or Kaz?
Was it Long Island or was it a West Coast?
Was it Cal something?
No, it was West Coast.
It was West Coast because it was the former head coach of Gonzaga who had gotten – it was Munson.
Was it Cal Bakersfield or no?
I know it was Coach Munson. I'll find out which school he was the head coach of.
But I just remember – because I remember looking at when we had the Arizona State-Baylor game on yesterday, it was – wouldn't it be so funny if he somehow found a way to win? Now it's the Big 12. It's not going to happen, but – Arizona, Houston, Kansas, pretty good. But.
Well, what was the year that we had, and we realized why, the anomaly with Temple basketball, remember?
A few years ago, he was the head coach. It was Munson. He was the head coach at Long Beach State.
Long Beach State.
Not Long Island, Long Beach. Okay.
It was Long Beach State. He went 21-15. He had already announced that he had lost his job. They were going to fire him. And then they went on that magical run, won the tournament, and they went 10-10 in the regular season. They tied for 5th in their conference. Got into the conference tournament, won it, got to the NCAA. Now, the last 2 years, he's been at Eastern Washington as the head coach. And the reason I remember, Dan Munson was really one of the first guys to get Gonzaga going.
Was he the coach before Few?
As a program. And we had Munson on the Paul Feinbaum show many years ago. And he was a really, really nice guy to deal with. It was like, you deal with me. Don't call the SID. Here's my number. He was one of those type guys.
Yeah.
And I always appreciated that. You know, Kevin Sumlin was the same way at Texas A&M, believe it or not. He was like, don't go through the SID. You want me? Just call me. I'll do the show.
That's always nice, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You don't have to go through but yeah, Dan Munson was the guy that you guys were referring to.
Yeah. It's nice to have those relationships. Mm-hmm. It used to happen more frequently. Now it's pretty much streamlined and it's really tough, but it was the same thing. It was, we will never talk, and I want to come on your show. Just call me here on this number.
Yep. I want to ask you guys, so this whole Maxx Crosby thing that took place yesterday, it's working out pretty well for Baltimore, you have to say, with who they signed this morning.
It's almost like it's not because of a medical report.
Is that crazy to think that might be what's going on here?
No, they saw that they could get somebody of...
They could get Hendrickson?
Equivalent talent. He's no Maxx Crosby, but he's still an elite pass rusher. Maybe save a couple pennies and save your first-round picks. Well, and there were reports coming out last night from people covering the Raiders that it was fishy. The Raiders were not happy with Baltimore.
It was really interesting because, and they didn't bleep him, but on the NFL Network, Tom Pelissero yesterday afternoon, when all this started happening, he said that he had been on the phone with more than a couple of NFL executives, and they said, this is bull, you know what?
Yeah.
Because the amount of things that took place after the supposed trade around the league.
Well, other teams pivoted.
The domino effect. Mm-hmm. Look what Dallas did. Dallas was in the running for Crosby. They ended up trading to get Rashad Gary.
Mm-hmm.
with the Green Bay Packers. Who knows?
Which is hilarious because they traded Michael Parsons to them last year, and now they're trading for. It's funny.
But I mean, they said on the NFL Network that executives around the league was furious.
Yeah, and I saw a similar report that was, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, good luck having people negotiate with you in the near future because you kind of have a black stain on that now.
And the Ravens, to me, and a lot of this goes back to Ozzie Newsome and running that front office. But the Ravens, to me, have always seemed like the most well put together, well run, organized, by the book organization that's there. They've never struck me as shady.
No. Now, if this was something that, like it or not, like, okay, if Bob Kraft and the Patriots did this, you'd be kind of like,
You see it happening.
I could see that happening. But yeah, the Packers, the Steelers, the 49ers, the Ravens, they're not going to do something like this, but apparently they did.
I can see Stephen Ross, the Chinese billionaire, doing this in Miami.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think it's a good look for the Ravens. And unsurprisingly, after that news came out, Raiders phones were blown up from other teams that wanted Maxx Crosby. Surprise! Somebody wants one of the best defensive players in the country.
Yeah, and another point of interest is that there's 32 different team doctors. There is not an NFL so-called general standard of where you don't pass a physical. This is based on 32 different doctors in the league. So if the Baltimore doctor feels that he failed the medical test, the Denver Broncos might say, no, he's good to go. Now, we can live with whatever you saw. We're good with that.
Well, all I saw was, so he had a meniscus injury last year.
And had the surgery in January, I think.
And there was some concern I saw that maybe he wouldn't be ready for like week 1. But nothing that I saw was might miss the whole season, could impact him for the rest of his career, nothing of that sort. But after the trade was announced over the weekend, a lot of experts in the NFL kind of thought that the Ravens overpaid. So maybe they saw that and went, ooh, yeah, maybe we did kind of jump the gun a little bit. Let's go get this Hendrickson guy and get those draft picks.
I mean, it looks like it's turned out like you didn't have to give up any first-round draft picks.
No, and the best part is you got to take somebody from your rival because Hendrickson was with the Bengals, and so you kind of get to
best of both worlds.
Stab them in the back a little bit, yeah.
Now, we got tournament action, and next week, no exception, because we got the big dance. March Madness starts at the Finnick. You can join the Finnick their first round of March Madness. They're going to open the doors early for lunch, have all the games, wall-to-wall basketball, the first round action, all the big games you're going to be able to find, the projector screens, the video boards, all of the TVs that they have throughout the place, and they have a wonderful menu, whether it's the shareables, the starters, you want to go with something handheld, or even fork and knife. They've got signature cocktails dedicated to your favorite team, all the beers that you can choose from, even got pool tables if it's halftime and you're looking to have some fun with your friends. You can bring your bracket, grab some great food, and catch every buzzer beater at the Finnick, whether you're sneaking away from the office or making it a full day of hoops. The Finnick is the place to watch the madness unfold. Again, lunch specials. We have all kinds of cold drinks, cocktails that I mentioned, nonstop March Madness. Tip off your tournament the right way. Great food, cold drinks, every game on the screens at the Finnick, 1630 2nd Avenue South.
All right, we're all Italians tonight. And you know what I mean?
Yes.
So get your pasta, get your ragu, get your fancy Italian wine.
Get shot in Italy for saying ragu.
I'm going to have to eat Italian 2 nights in a row.
Yeah.
Italy needs a win tonight against Mexico for the United States baseball team to continue.
You want something with some heavy cream now that it's warm outside.
The amount of jokes I had yesterday of, I bet Conrad's eating pasta for dinner last night.
I had a pretty good menu set up for you last night.
You did. There were some great options there. And we have somebody to root for
Team
the
Italy.
Italians, because turns out, so we had Garrett Whitlock, the hero from UAB.
Go Blazers.
Turns out one of the players for Team Italy that hit a home run last night is the shortstop for the Birmingham Barons.
What?
Yep. Sam Antonazzi?
Yeah, that's
I don't know if it's Nazi.
No.
Antonacci. What you know what I mean. Nochi.
I'm not even looking at the name, but it's not the first one you said.
It's Nacci. That's the end of it. Whatever. But he's the shortstop for the Barons. Yeah. I did my best. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, man. We know you didn't.
A for effort.
Yep.
It's just playing into the narrative that we all know
Yes,
about
thank you, Pat.
anyway.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you. I'm sure there'll be a new picture hanging up in my office at the end of the show.
Can't put that one up.
What about Big Brother, the reality show?
Yeah, the Italian Big Brother show. Yeah, did you see that? Did you see who's going to be starring in the Italian version of Big Brother? I'm not making this up.
It's the granddaughter, the great-granddaughter of
Benito Mussolini.
Whoa.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming, did you?
It did not end well for her grandpappy.
Gonna be a reality TV star now.
Alessandria Mussolini will be on the Italian version of Big Brother.
That is a pretty last name. It's just a shame that it's associated with a tyrant, evil, straight from the bowels of hell person. But I'm sure she's sweet.
Well said.
Yeah.
We will continue on. This is Three Man Front and a history lesson.
Yes.
Here on Jocks. We are underway in Nashville as the Kentucky Wildcats. They have an early 11-10 lead over LSU, 15-18 to go in the opening half. Kentucky went off as an 8.5-point favorite against the Bengal Tigers, so it's a close one through the first 5 minutes or so.
Well, if you're looking for a place to check all the conference tournament action, you need to go to Big Whiskey's because they have great food of all varieties with a full menu. They've got apps, salads, burgers to steaks with a full bar, features unique cocktails, over 120 whiskeys, including whiskey on tap. They also offer different food and drink specials for each day of the week. They have happy hour, and the kitchen is open late every night. They're in the Stadium Trace Village near the Hoover Met, but now they're also off of Highway 280. That's our friends at Big Whiskey's.
As the NFL considers its next move with regards to its media rights, the league, according to sources, is mulling over adding new windows for this coming season, and Thanksgiving Eve could be in play. I didn't say Thanksgiving. I said Thanksgiving Eve could be in play. The Sports Business Journal is reporting that the NFL is taking high consideration of playing a football game on Thanksgiving Eve. They said it could involve teams coming off bye weeks. There is currently no tentpole sporting event on that Wednesday before Thanksgiving. This past year, ESPN ran a triple header of NBA games and had its best Thanksgiving Eve audience in 6 years. So obviously the television executives, NFL's taking notice that if you do play live sporting events on a Wednesday night, even if it's an NBA game, you're going to get eyeballs. So according to the Sports Business Journal, the NFL is currently in the market with potentially 4 games for ESPN to look at and to place on outside typical normal viewing windows, and Thanksgiving Eve is one of those nights.
I think in years past they discounted that at some point, if you've been hanging out with family all day, everybody kind of needs their own time. But the day before Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving, I think that's a perfect window. That's when we used to have our Friendsgiving. So we get together. Mm-hmm. A lot of people do that. But you're the NFL. People are going to watch.
Last year, the NFL saw its most watched slate of Thanksgiving Day games on record, with the 3 matchups across Fox, CBS, and NBC averaging 34.2 million viewers on Thanksgiving Day.
Ravens versus Raiders, Thanksgiving Eve. There you go.
Yeah.
Have a sense of humor. The NFL does that sometimes.
People watch on Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why are they not going to watch the night before Thanksgiving?
People watch the NBA on Christmas Day, Landrum.
Because there's nothing else on, Conrad. I, too, watch the NBA sometimes on Christmas if there was nothing else on. Like a quarter.
Well, yesterday we talked about it on the show. The Alabama Crimson Tide had another spring practice, and Kalen DeBoer met with the media after practice, and the number one question is the quarterback competition. Let's hear from Kalen DeBoer on the so-called quarterback controversy.
You can tell that they've had a number of reps, from the last year under their belt, playing with confidence, calling the play in the huddle with confidence. Both of them, light years of where they were had a year ago, obviously, and they should be. Love, the talent level as far as that's concerned is not a question. It's just a matter of them building the rapport with their skill around them, making the throws when they're there, feeling the timing and trust. Just feeling comfortable in the pocket, and that just comes with time, feeling comfortable with your offensive line doing the job up front. So, like what they've done through 2 practices, created some good explosives on their end, good feel, working the mobility when they have to. That's part of football too. It forces scramble drills and things like that. When that does come up, that helps our defense as well. So I think they're really putting a lot of pressure on our defense doing the same to them.
Kalen DeBoer yesterday after practice discussing the quarterbacks, and I'm just reading between the lines. It sounds like to me that Kalen DeBoer, that's not coach speak. I believe that as of this moment, he really does like what he sees from the 2 quarterbacks, at least early on in spring camp.
Minus the game playing experience, he's got 2 very viable options, and in some regards, you could say maybe other aspects of their game more talented than what Ty Simpson was able to do. It just goes back to cerebrally, how much can they pick up, process when live bullets are being fired at them. But I think you could be in a lot worse spots.
Well, and I think, because they said multiple times last year, right, they felt good about whoever was under center. But I think we all knew if Ty Simpson, and he was banged up, and I think the reason that he played through a lot of that is, those guys didn't have a lot of experience. I do think this year right? Whoever wins the job, I don't think it's a case of, well, Austin Mack's the quarterback. That means that Keelan Russell isn't there yet, or he's not very good. I think it's the case that they think they have two legitimately very good quarterbacks, and they'll be happy with whoever it is that wins. It's just, one guy's got to win the competition. But I feel like this year maybe there's a little more confidence that whoever it is, they're going to be okay.
Well, he went on to say in another clip that you look at the team and look at the quarterbacks using their feet more, at least early going. And let's just be honest. I mean, Ty Simpson was deceptive at times. He utilized that, but he was more of a pocket passer. I think whether it's Mack or Russell, you're going to see maybe a different dynamic to the offense. And you're going to also have two guys that are more accurate passers than what Jalen Milroe was.
Yes. But if you had Jalen Milroe with the accuracy, the good decision-making, what he did with his feet and more of what you got with Bryce Young. Because we remember when Bryce Young, he was able to create, and he was not behind a good offensive line. I just go back to the LSU touchdown that he threw where he should have been sacked. He should have been sacked probably 8 times, and he created. You didn't get that with Jalen Milroe. You got some of those plays, but a lot of times just normal sequence. What just happened? Why did he do that? He dropped the snap or he threw it right to the guy. But now with either Keelan Russell or Austin Mack, you're going to have that, and I do feel like maybe you're don't know so much about Russell, but with Austin Mack, probably feel more confident of him taking care of the football.
Yeah, and I mean, if you got an accurate quarterback that's 40% of what Jalen Milroe was with his legs, you're in a great spot. Like you got potential, top tier SEC quarterback type thing there. So we'll have to see, and obviously right early on in practice mobility, they're not going to hit the guys, and so you got to, see that in live action in the fall. But
they're going to have to be mobile though, where they're still tinkering out this offensive line. You got Clem going in there trying to find out whatever was wrong. Got new guys coming in trying to implement the system, but you're going to have to be mobile.
Yeah, you got a lot of guys that have a lot of potential, but I mean, when the guy that has the most experience is maybe Michael Carroll, who was a true freshman last year, a lot of growing pains probably, but hopefully they get those ironed out in the offseason.
So the offensive coordinator for Alabama will meet with the media coming up in the next few days, and so it'll be interesting to see what Coach Grubb has to say about his quarterback, see if he echoes the sentiment of his head coach and how he's going to fix the running game.
That's the big one.
That should be one of the first questions asked to Coach Grubb.
I would think that would be question numero uno.
My question would be, how did the running game get broke, Coach?
Well, because you want somebody to come out and just say, guys aren't good enough. Running back wasn't good enough. He kind of said that a little bit at the end of the year where he kind of hinted at maybe the offensive line wasn't willing to do the nitty-gritty work to get that push on the offensive line. Gonna need that. Crowell's great, but got to have a good offensive line.
With our weather going from severe spring storms straight into summer heat and humidity, it takes a roofing company that truly understands what works here in the state of Alabama, and that's Abide Roofing at 205-577-7338. Abide Roofing offers free, no-obligation roof inspections. Even if you don't see missing shingles, hidden damage can turn into an expensive problem. And this time of the year, with these heavy storms and hail damage, you need to have the experts come check your roof and make sure everything's okay. That's Abide Roofing, 205-577-7338. Abide has earned a reputation of one of Birmingham's most reliable roofing contractors, delivering industry-leading quality backed by 5-star Google ratings you hear me talk about here on the show. They offer complete roofing solutions, including 24-hour support and fast emergency service. So when storms hit, help is just a phone call away. So you need to get started today with that free roof inspection by Abide Roofing. That's 205-577-7338, or simply go to their website, abideroof.com.
Pat, with every single week, Coach Bill Clark.
Yep.
There were certain non-negotiables in his program. And one was, we're going to run the ball. But, Coach, we have an inexperienced we're going to run the ball. But, Coach, we're hurt. We're going to run the football and run it well. We're going to figure out how to do it. Just saying. 3-man front continues.
We are underway in Nashville, the SEC basketball tournament. Bit of a surprise right now. 10 minutes and 37 seconds to go until halftime. And the Kentucky Wildcats, they lead LSU 20-17. It's been interesting because LSU has led most of the first 10 minutes of the basketball game, and LSU's only shooting 35%. And you were beating Kentucky until the last series or two. So Kentucky is up 20-17. Kentucky's shooting 50% from the field. LSU 33% now.
Can we play this out? Kentucky loses the game.
I was just about to say that.
Kentucky's on a 7-0 run in the last 1 minute and 32 seconds.
So I saw this on Twitter last night, and I can't totally verify it, but it was somebody listing how many times each SEC team has played on the Wednesday of the tournament. So the first round of the tournament, the worst teams in the conference typically. They were saying this was the first time Kentucky's ever played on Wednesday in the SEC tournament.
But their fans are generally there because they like basketball and they get there early. And they
Is
spend
that
money.
the first day of the tournament or on Wednesday?
I'm assuming it's the stipulation. It's the first day on Wednesday. So, because obviously the conference has expanded and things of that nature. But at least in recent memory.
Yeah, back in the old days, me and Landrum, it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah,
that was it.
Because, yeah.
Of course, the big snowstorm. You remember the big blizzard?
Yeah. Yep.
The blizzard of '93. That was right in the smack dab in the middle of the SEC basketball tournament, which was being played in Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky.
That's right. Man.
The Great Midwest Conference was playing in Memphis. That's where UAB was.
You think Barnhart is happy he announced his retirement? Because if Kentucky goes to lose this game, they're obviously not happy with Mark Pope right now, but a first-round exit in the SEC tournament to LSU? This LSU?
That would be really bad. But, I mean, I know it's the NCAA tournament, but we saw a couple years Cal, Oakland, and the like.
New football coach Will Stein, he's smelling like a rose right now.
Oh, yeah, he's loving this.
Hadn't had coach a game.
Speaking of Kentucky, the former great Kentucky linebacker, John Summerall. Whatever happened to John Summerall? Do you remember him?
Last time I saw he was at Troy.
Yeah, I thought he was in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He got that Tulane job. He's the new coach at Auburn. No, he's not.
Ah, he was. He's now the head football coach of the Florida Gators. He will join the show in 1 hour and 5 minutes. Looking forward to catching up with Coach John Summerall and his new task to bring the Florida Gators back to the promised land and make people like Brian Edwards very happy.
Yes. Wonder if he's buddies with Spurrier.
If you're smart, you would be.
You think he's played golf shirtless with Spurrier?
So, visor on the sideline?
Summerall a visor guy? He's not a visor
I don't
guy.
think so. I think I saw something of him at practice, and he was wearing a regular ball cap.
Yeah, it's time to change.
We'll ask him about it.
Yeah.
We'll keep you posted in Nashville, Kentucky up 25-19, under 10 minutes to go until halftime.
Riveting.